checking the forecast, things looking crazy. A storm on the horizon, the pressure is low. Gotta get moving, put on a show. The news is all buzzing, state of alert, but we've got a plan, we're ready to work. Emergency Management Associates, we're here for the crisis, we're here for the fates. From the first sign of trouble to the all clear sign, we're on the front lines, we're one of a kind. Emergency Management Associates, we're the calm in the chaos, we're opening gates, connecting the dots and making the calls. We're picking you up when you're starting to fall. See a little fire or a rising flood, we're a well-oiled machine, we're running in the mud. From the city hall meetings to the rescue teams, turning worst case scenarios into hopeful dreams. We're training the people, stocking the gear, we're the team you can count on when trouble is near. Emergency Management Associates, we're here for the crisis, we're here for the face. From the first sign of trouble to the all clear sign, we're on the front lines, we're one of a kind. Emergency Management Associates, we're the calm in the chaos, we're opening gates, connecting the dots and making the calls. We're picking you up when you're starting to fall. It's more than a job, it's a calling, you see. Prepared for the present and what's yet to be. Every second counts, we're ready to react for our communities. We're making an impact. Emergency Management Associates, we're here for the crisis, we're here for the fates. From the first sign of trouble to the all clear sign, we're on the front lines, we're one of a kind. Emergency Management Associates, we're the calm in the chaos, we're opening gates, connecting the dots and making the calls. We're picking you up when you're starting to fall. Yeah, we're picking you up, we're ready to go. Let's get this show on the road.
Do we get this show on the road, guys? This is Emergency Management Associates. We are on the air. Welcome to our show, guys. We're coming to you from the Area Command, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. How about that, guys? We're on the air right now. Emergency Management Associates. We're coming to you from the Area Command, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. Thank you for joining us, guys. We're glad to be here with you. We appreciate you here with us. Now, some housekeeping first. For those of you that have been here before, welcome. We would love to have you here. For those of you that haven't been here before or haven't subscribed to our channel, please subscribe to this channel so you get to know us, number one, and two, you get notified when we come on the air. When you subscribe to this channel, one more thing, right next to the subscription button, there is another thing you need to do. There is a notification bell, little tiny notification bell. Click on that. When you click on that, a drop-down menu of three items is going to come up. Click on the word ALL, all. That should get you subscribed to our channel. Also, YouTube is still unsubscribing people as they've always done. Please make sure your subscriptions are still valid, and make sure you're subscribed to this channel, and also hit that notification button. Okay? It's important. Very important. They continue unsubscribing people because they don't like me telling the truth. I don't mince the truth. I don't gloss over it. I tell the story as it is. That's what we do here on this channel. I don't give a flying rat's butt. I honestly don't give a flying rat's butt what YouTube wants to do or what they don't want to do. We've always been of the opinion that the public has a right and deserves to know the truth. Now again, okay, last night I showed you this picture I've shown to you in the past. I am a former federal police officer. I was stationed first in San Diego, was hired in stations in San Diego. Then I put a chit in to transfer to Denver, which I did. I was a federal police officer up until about February or March 2009. That's when Obama started cutting the ranks of federal police. He cut the budget and we were laid off. We never came back. I was retired. I retired. Guys, I was a cop. I know the law. What I'm going to talk about right now is law. Okay? Now, we're talking about use of force as of the other day when a Minneapolis woman tried to ram a police officer, a federal police officer, guys, an ICE agent. Immigration's Customs Enforcement is a federal police position. It's a law enforcement officer. I want to make that clear. Law enforcement officer, guys. It doesn't matter whether you're wearing green, blue, or whatever the color is. It doesn't matter. You're a federal law enforcement agent or a municipal law enforcement officer. It doesn't matter. You're still a cop. Now, I want to play a video here that lasts about 3 minutes detailing a Chicago top cop explaining the use of force. He's very adamant about this. Then I'll have some more comments after that. Then we'll talk about earthquakes and the other things going on. Let's listen to this. This is important. This is very important. Okay? I personally have been jacked up, been told I don't know what I'm talking about. I've been called all kinds of names during the past 2 to 3 days because I was a cop. Okay? I didn't know what I was talking about. I ought to be fired. I ought to be killed. Yes, guys, on the thread, okay? The Threads app. I was there. I put up an information video of Kristi Noem addressing what happened in Minneapolis. People said she lied. People said I lied. They actually came out against me and threatened to kill me. I have 3 death threats. As of today, I've had over 2,600 hits on that thread. 2,600 hits on that thread. From the time I put it up the other night until I went to bed, I had over 1,000 hits. Now I have over 2,600 hits on that thread. I also have a number of people that support me and tell what is the truth. I'm going to let this Chicago cop tell the truth for you. Listen to this.
Strong words that tried to push back at some of the criticism out there. Snelling speaking out for the first time since immigration enforcement ramped up, seeking to respond to the events of this weekend. That's where groups of vehicles allegedly followed and rammed federal immigration vehicles, and where a woman was shot by federal agents after allegedly attempting to hit those agents with her car. Now, Snelling offered this timeline of events. 10:36 a.m. police officers respond to dispatch that the woman was shot. They and the Chicago Fire Department accompany her to the hospital while securing the crime scene. 12:12, a separate incident featuring cars allegedly ramming ICE vehicles. 12:28, CPD receives a call from a federal ICE agent asking for assistance, and 1:09 p.m., CPD is on the scene assisting those agents. Now, Snelling was responding to viral social media posts that an order was given by Chief of Patrol John Hine not to respond to that 12:28 call. Snelling says no such order was ever given, although there might have been miscommunication, because Snelling says Hine did not want to send cops there unprepared without riot gear and gas masks. Cops did respond to that scene 40 minutes later. Now, there have been many social media posts calling for Hine's removal, Snelling's removal, Snelling making it clear he believes it's all politics.
When we show up to a scene and a crowd gathers, CPD is going to step out there. We're going to make sure that we maintain that scene and we keep people calm. This is our city, and we're going to make sure that we bring some type of calm or resolution to whatever's going on at that scene.
Now, Snelling also hitting back at the criticism that police aren't arresting federal agents, saying police do not arrest other law enforcement, and also making it clear that ramming or following around federal law enforcement is plainly illegal. It risks endangering the lives not only of the officers, but community members alike.
If you ram any vehicle, especially that one that contains law enforcement agents, and that's any law enforcement, local, state, federal, county, and you do this intentionally, this is considered deadly force. Deadly force is anything that can cause great bodily harm or death. When you plow into a vehicle that contains law enforcement agents, you're using deadly force. And they can use deadly force in response to stop you.
Now, Miramar Martinez, the woman allegedly involved in that altercation who got shot, was released, discharged by a federal judge pending her trial. Snelling also reminded people that under Chicago's welcoming city law, it goes all the way back to the 1980s, police cannot assist federal agents in immigration enforcement, nor can they impede. So it puts that agency in a tough position, Sylvia.
Okay. Chicago can't help enforce immigration law. Most departments have that policy. However, most departments will not come to the aid of any individuals that are putting law enforcement officers in a disastrous, dangerous situation. They will protect the other law enforcement officers. I want to make that clear. Federal law enforcement is required to help protect other law enforcement agents. They're not there to arrest them. They're there to help protect them. Okay? Now again, as Chicago's top cop said, law enforcement, if you ram a law enforcement vehicle, or as what happened in Minneapolis, you try to go after law enforcement in whatever fashion. Okay? I have plenty of evidence that shows that this woman rammed a law enforcement officer. Yes, she hit him with the driver's front corner of her vehicle. He had been in the front of the vehicle. He tried to get out of the way, and she still hit him. Okay? Now, there are some people that said and had pictures of her vehicle with a reverse light on in the back, a backup light. There was a law enforcement officer at her door telling her to step out of the vehicle. When she told him in no uncertain terms to go to hell, that was when he got hold of the door handle himself and tried to open her door, and it still wouldn't come open. She'd locked the door. Then she tried to back up to get away from him. Meanwhile, the other officer went around to the front of her vehicle. Then when she couldn't get rid of that officer trying to open her door, she rammed her vehicle into the forward motion drive. That's when the other officer that had been in front of her vehicle was put in harm's way. He tried to dodge it. She hit him. I have the video keyed up on my other device here. Let me show you this video here. This is important to understand. I'm sorry about that. Right there. This is a cell phone video that's become available to us. Okay, that woman right there is videotaping what was going on, and she was in the passenger side of the vehicle. Okay, that's after the shots were fired. Let's go back here. This is a woman. Okay, Miss Good. Okay? Miss Good, before she went to the protest, had dropped her 6-year-old child off at a school to go to school. Meanwhile, she had also, prior to this, been a chairman and the co-founder of a group called Watch ICE. WATCH ICE. They had prepared signs, they had made protests, they tried to keep ICE from doing its job. The day that she was shot and killed, ICE was trying to move down the street in vehicles. Meantime, she pulls her vehicle away from the curb and goes to block the street. That's number one. That made her a criminal right there. Blocking the street is a felony. A felony. Okay? Yes, protesters turned into felonies here. Blocking the street. When the federal agent tried to go to her door, demanding she step out of her vehicle, she told him to go to hell. She rammed her vehicle in reverse gear, trying to back up to get rid of him. It didn't work. Then she put her vehicle in drive and put her vehicle in forward motion, which rammed the police officer that had been in front of her. That made her a felon again. Striking a federal law enforcement officer. Didn't matter whether he was federal or not. Striking a law enforcement officer, that's a felony. Okay? She's a felon. Now, again, law enforcement can use that force which is reasonable and necessary to stop the assault. That's the quote out of federal law. That's the quote out of federal law. I'm not joking. I am a former law enforcement use of force instructor. Okay? I taught the use of police force, including firearms, batons, pepper spray, other uses of force. Okay? I know what I'm talking about. That still is in effect today. The Chicago's top cop you saw talking about it. Use of force. You try to strike a uniformed officer. Doesn't matter whether he is a municipal city officer, a state officer, or a federal officer. You try to put their lives in danger, whether it's ramming them personally or ramming their vehicles, you're guilty of a felony. You will go to jail. In this case, the police were authorized to use deadly force. Unfortunately, stupid is as stupid does. You play stupid games, you get stupid prizes. She won the hero's prize that day. She lost her life. Now, I don't think she was thinking clearly, number one. Okay? Number one, she was a mother. She had just dropped off her child at school before going to the protest. That was number one. Number two, she was a chairman and co-founder of Watch ICE, a protesting group. Number three, she was protesting and harassing officers all morning long. Then she got in her car, she blocked a roadway, and then she rammed a federal officer. She broke the law. At that point in time, law enforcement is authorized use of force. That force, again, which was reasonable and necessary to stop the assault. In this case, the assaulting person was driving a vehicle. Major felony assault. That officer fired bullets at her. She was hit 3 times. 3 times. She was killed. Sad. Now, someone on that thread told me, why did he fire 3 times? He could have shot her in other places but her face. Guess what? If you're driving a car, your face is only visible above the hood of the car. He fired at the windshield. She got hit in the face. The person that addressed me on the thread said he could have shot her anywhere else. He didn't have that opportunity. He stopped the assault. I'm going to tell you right now, if you watch this video at all, you need to get one thing perfectly clear. Use force against any police officer, you're going to get in retaliation the same size of force, equal to or necessary to stop the assault. That's the price you pay. Period. Now, yes, I feel sorry for her daughter. I feel sorry for her wife. Yes, she was a gay, lesbian, female. I feel sorry for her entire family. But because she was stupid and she decided to do something stupid, she paid the price for a dumb act. I'm not going to apologize for what that officer did. He did and exercised true faith and allegiance to his badge. True faith and allegiance to his badge and his other partners there that were out protecting the citizens of that community. Yes, they were protecting the citizens of that community. That's another issue that people had. They said those ICE officers were not protecting anybody but themselves. No. Criminal activity in Minneapolis has risen 500%. 500% over the last year. Since that mayor and that governor have been in charge of Minnesota. Mayor being in charge of Minneapolis, the governor being in charge of the state. Crime has risen 500% during the Biden administration when these people have been in office. 500%, mostly because of immigration people. Immigrating people that came into Minnesota. Somalis for the most part. Somalis. Now, just this week, over 98 people have been arrested for fraud in Minnesota. 98 people have been arrested for fraud in Minnesota, and every one of those are from Somalia. Period. Fraud. Now, our friend Nick, who lived there in Minnesota, he did his own investigation. Now he's appeared on major news programs. He's appeared on YouTube, on different programs on YouTube. I'm trying to get hold of him to appear on this show. He got it within himself to go and investigate what Somali daycare centers were doing. Fraudulent activity. He proved it. Now, federal agents are going to those locations and making arrests and closing those locations down, including that learning center. Remember, the learning center was spelled Learing, the Learning Center. Yeah. The people that opened that supposed daycare center didn't have one person that was young people, not one young child, not one. But they accepted millions of dollars in kickbacks from the federal government to support that child daycare center. Not one child was in it. Nick also went to all the other daycares in Minnesota. Guess what? All the daycare centers that were operated by Somalis had no children in them. Not one. When they went there and they knocked on the doors, some of them came to the door and answered it. Then once they started getting questioned, they closed and slammed the door and didn't allow any more talk at all. Now they're being arrested. They're going to be facing the justice system. And they're probably going to be thrown out of this country. Now, the amount of fraud that is committed in Minnesota, the amount of fraud that's committed by the Somalis in Minnesota is equal to the gross national product of Somalia. All that fraudulent money that's come into Minnesota that was taken by these Somali daycare centers is equal to the same amount of money that is the gross national product of Somalia itself. The money, for the most part, was sent back to Somalia. Unreal. And yet we have a congresswoman, Ilhan Omar, that said that her first responsibility is to the people of Somalia as a United States sitting congresswoman. Interesting. She was elected by the people of Minnesota. She's not representing them, she's representing Somalia. She has no business being a representative at all. Laws are changing. Pretty soon she's going to be evicted from Congress. She and her other gang of four will be evicted from Congress because they were not nationalized citizens. They were not born here in the United States. They're going to be thrown out of Congress. The other thing is, we're never going to have another president of the United States such as Barack Hussein Obama, who's now proven to be a born child out of Kenya. Yeah, Kenya. That should never happen again. He falsified his birth certificate. He was a felon himself. Falsified his birth certificate saying he was born in Hawaii. He was not. He's also been in charge of Mr. Biden, the last president. And Mr. Biden, even though he's in frail health, may end up going to prison himself. I'm fed up with what has been happening with the Communist Democrat Party. I'm completely fed up. All of us throughout the United States should be fed up. Fed up. Call the White House switchboard. Call the White House switchboard. Call and talk to your senators. Call and talk to your congressmen and women. Tell them to vote against what's been going on. Tell them to stand up for America, not for the garbage that's been going on. And by the way, the United States Senate voted against President Trump today. Yeah. They voted against the United States president today. Incredible. Incredible what's going on. There was a bill that was sent to the United States Senate from the House, an appropriations bill, a finance bill. But because of the way it was written, the Democrats and corresponding Republicans voted against it. Against it. Incredible. Incredible. Our own conservative party here in the United States voted against the president. Unreal. Uncut and picking real. Unreal, guys. That should also never have happened. Our United States Senate and our congressmen in the House of Representatives, they were voted in as Republicans, yet they voted against the President of the United States. Call the DC switchboard. The number is up in chat. The telephone number is 202-224-3121. 202-234-3121. And tell the senators and our congressmen that you want a bill approved by the House and the Senate and forwarded to the president for his signature to keep us from shutting down our government at the end of this month on January 30th. Tell them to approve the bill. Don't shut this government down one more time. Approve the doggone bill. This is common sense. As Don Patoka in our chat here says, this is common sense like deodorant. Put it on before you leave your house. Common sense. Yes, we are lacking common sense in this community, in our United States. people don't have common sense at all. It's got to stop. It's got to stop someone, and I'm going to tell you this as the president of Emergency Management Associates, this constitutes a national emergency. We need to stand up for our country. Please forward this message, this program on to everybody you know. Your family, your extended family, your neighbors and your friends, the people you associate with on social media, and also the people you work with. Tell the people you work with and the people you associate with on social media and your family, your neighbors, friends. Tell them the emergency is happening in front of our face. We need to stand up for what is right and true. Instead of falling after the media, which lies to us constantly. Yes, the media lies to us constantly. The Democrat, communists lie to us constantly. It's got to stop. It's got to stop right now. Guys, our nation is a nation of triumph, a nation of truth, of justice. It has been a beacon standing up to the entire world. Now the world looks at us and says, you're full of crap. That's because of our politicians. That's because of our media and what's been going on. It's got to turn around. Our country is a laughingstock of the world. Laughingstock of the world. It's got to stop. It's got to stop right now. Ken Zoe's here in the chat saying he's lost his faith in his country. I haven't lost my faith yet. It's not happened. I still have faith we can turn this around. We can turn this cancer off. That's what we should be concentrating on right now, is turning this cancer off. Our lives and the lives of our family depend on that item. Let's do that. Let's do that. My buddy Don Patoka here in the chat is one of our mods here. He's saying, there is no political solution. This is a spiritual issue. Don, you are absolutely right. This is a spiritual issue. Everybody needs to get their values straight. Stand up for what you believe in. Don't let anyone else tell you what to believe. Stand up for what you believe in and make it right. Make it true. Now, on another item, there is a medical emergency on board the United States, or what I should say, the International Space Station in orbit around the Earth. There's a medical emergency on board the space station. 4 space station flyers have been told to cut their mission short and return to Earth ahead of schedule because of an apparently serious medical issue affecting an unidentified crew member aboard the International Space Station. Sad. There have been medical issues aboard the space station, but this is the first issue that's come forward where somebody's life depends on it. Crew 11 will be returning. They were launched into orbit August 11th last year aboard this rocket here. Crew 11, these crew members here. Left top, gentleman from Russia, Platonov, Yuri, to the right of him, from Japan, astronaut Cardman, sitting on the left, astronaut Finka, who is presently the commander of the space station. It is not known which of these astronauts is sick. We don't know. But yesterday, actually the day before yesterday, a single crew member on board the station experienced a serious medical situation that is now stable. NASA Administrator Jared Isaacman came forward and talked about it in a news conference. He said after discussions with Chief Health and Medical Officer Dr. J.D. Polk of leadership across the agency, they've come to the decision that it is in the best interest of our astronauts to return Crew 11 ahead of their planned departure, which was in mid-February. We expect to provide a further update within the next 48 hours as to the expected anticipated undocking and reentry timeline. In keeping with the agency's strict medical privacy policy, NASA officials have not identified the astronaut in question or provided any details about the nature of the medical issue. But the alien astronaut is a member of NASA's Crew 11, made up of Commander Zena Cardman, veteran astronaut Mike Finke, Japanese astronaut Kimiya Yuri, and Russian cosmonaut Oleg Plotnov. They were launched to the International Space Station, like I said, August 1st last year, aboard a SpaceX Crew Dragon ferry ship. They were planning on returning to Earth on February 20th, after their Crew 12 replacements arrive. Now they're going to depart earlier than that. Fink and Cardman were planning to venture outside the space station on Thursday, yesterday, to complete a support truss to add on a new solar array for electricity for the space station. Sorry about that. I thought I had all the volume on my phone turned down. Let me make sure it's turned down. We'll get on with this. I don't like having my phone interrupt us. I apologize for this. It's not going to happen again, I hope. Okay, I'm sorry. It's fixed, won't happen again. Anyway, Fink and Cardman were planning on going outside the space station to complete a space station truss to add on a solar array to provide electricity for the space station and carry on other tasks. But on Wednesday, NASA changed the information. Okay, they announced the spacewalk has been called off due to medical concerns with one of the Crew 11 astronauts. The agency said that the crew member was stable now, but other details were provided. Dr. Polk, hold on a second. Dr. Polk said yesterday that the astronaut in question was not injured or made ill by any operational aspect of living aboard the space station. The spacewalk preparations played no role in the event. Mr. Isaacman, who is administrator of NASA, said the planned return of Crew 11 did not represent an emergency necessarily, adding that the agency was simply erring on the side of caution to ensure the health and the well-being of the astronaut. Even so, Crew 11's early return will mark the first time in U.S. space history that a mission had to be cut short due to a medical issue. Polk agreed it was not an emergency, adding, "This is not an emergency that occurred in pursuit of operations on the space station, but unrelated to the operational environment we have right now, we're making a decision. It's mostly about having a medical issue in difficult areas of microgravity. And with the suite of hardware that's on board the space station at their disposal, that equipment on board the space station, they were able to make a complete diagnosis of the medical problem on board with the astronaut. Space station crew members, each and every one of them, have extensive medical training and extensive medical equipment on board the space station, and crew members have been trained to serve as medical officers, each one of them. Physician and former astronaut Tom Marshburn said that space station crews are equipped to deal with all the things that have happened in space over the last 65 years of spaceflight. Any of those things that come up, even to some extreme examples, like a heart attack, something like that, we have the tools to deal with it. We just can't sustain someone sick on board the space station for a long period of time. Just a few days, perhaps. But pretty much any medical event that you can imagine could happen up there in space. Anna Castria, who's the NASA's Associate Administrator, said Crew 11 will follow normal procedures when returning to Earth, where they will splash down in the Pacific Ocean off the Southern California coast. SpaceX support crews and NASA flight surgeons will be standing by on board the company's Crew Dragon recovery ship.
Location, Southern Bolivia, class, light, magnitude, 4.5, 19 minutes ago.
4.5 in Bolivia 19 minutes ago, guys. But as Dr. Polk mentioned, this is the first time that they've ever encountered a controlled medical evacuation from the vehicle. So that's unusual. What is important to us is the whole crew. We don't want anything, given the nature of the condition, that we put any other additional risk on the crew by diverging from our normal procedures. So that's why we're doing essentially a controlled expedited return. The space station, cosmonauts, are continuously staffed by a crew of 7. 3 astronauts launch and return to Earth aboard a Soyuz Russian spacecraft. 4 astronaut crews fly to and from the lab aboard a NASA-managed SpaceX Crew Dragon ferry ship. SpaceX Crew Dragon can carry up to 7 people on board that spacecraft. Presently, they have 4 couches, so 4 astronauts can fly on board the SpaceX Dragon space capsule, but only 3 on board the Russian Soyuz spacecraft. Both spacecraft have served as lifeboats during the crew's long-duration space station stay. If a Soyuz or Crew Dragon flyer gets sick or is seriously injured aboard the station, that person is joined by all of his or her crewmates for the flight back to Earth. Because of the ever-present chance that a Soyuz or Crew Dragon might have to depart early, NASA and Russian Roscosmos Administration, the Russian Federal Space Agency, have agreed to fly 1 NASA astronaut aboard each Soyuz and 1 Russian cosmonaut aboard every U.S. Crew Dragon space capsule. The seat swap arrangements ensures that at least 1 Russian and 1 American are always on board the space station at any one time to operate equipment in their respective space modules. There are different modules on board the space station. Some of them were Russian built, and a large majority of them were US built. As a result, there has to be 1 American astronaut that's fully qualified to operate his or her equipment. That's what they do. Okay? Should 1 spacecraft depart early, they have to take all of their crew members with it. For that reason, after Crew 11 undocks from the station, NASA will still have one astronaut, Chris Williams, aboard to operate systems in the lab's U.S. modules. He was launched to the outpost in November aboard a Soyuz spacecraft along with 2 Russian cosmonauts, crewmates. A one-time volunteer firefighter and emergency medical technician, EMT. He also has a PhD, a doctorate in astrophysics from MIT. Harvard Medical Center. He's also board certified medical physicist at Harvard Medical Center. When he was selected to join NASA's astronaut corps in 2021, NASA realized they had a gem here. A fully qualified firefighter, an EMT, a doctorate in astrophysics, and a board certified medical physicist. A doctor. With the departure of Crew 11, Williams would be on his own managing the U.S. segment of the space station until Crew 12 arrives in February next month. Crew 12 Commander Jessica Meir, a space station veteran, and rookies Jack Hathaway, European Space Agency astronaut Sophie Adnot, and veteran cosmonaut Andrei Aveyah are scheduled to launch February 15th to the space station. NASA and SpaceX are looking into moving that launch up a few days and work to ready the space station launch complex for rocket to take off as early as February 6th and send 4 astronauts a looping flight around the moon. It's ready to launch 4 men around the moon again. The high-profile Artemis 2 mission will be the first to send astronauts to the vicinity of the moon in more than 50 years. NASA Administrator Isaacman said he did not think the early return of Crew 11 and the possibility of an early launch of Crew 12 would have any impact on the moon mission. Does anybody have any questions about what is happening in space? Anybody have any questions? Because this constitutes an emergency and a lot of people are interested in it, I thought, what the heck, I'll put this on here. Yes, we have an emergency in space involving one of our own. It doesn't matter whether he's a Russian or American. Does not matter at all. He's a human being. He's one of us. We take care of our own. Any questions? Now, I want to talk about something else that happened today. Not in space, but here on this earth. An earthquake. I'm going to the USGS map now. I'm going to take down a webcam. I'm going to take down our EMA banner here. Okay? Presently, we're showing on this map. We're showing on this map, Kamchatka Peninsula belongs to Russia. South of Russia in the Kuril Islands, you see an earthquake. Not bad, huh? One earthquake. However, there's many earthquakes that are there in that same region. Many earthquakes. But again, the USBS has decided they're only going to show one. This earthquake right here. A 5.0 earthquake here. 21 miles deep, shallow earthquake. Over here in the Aleutian Island area here, the Adak, Alaska area, this is a 4.0 moderate earthquake. 4.0 moderate earthquake. Now, I'm going over here into mainland Alaska. Down here in southern Alaska, we have earthquakes. Only here in southern Alaska. Okay? We have a brand new earthquake down here in the south here. Guess what? At Old Ililama Volcano. Old Ililama Volcano here, guys. Earthquake here. This is the 1.2 tremor here. Old Ililama Volcano is alive and well. Earthquakes indicate magma down beneath the volcano itself, inside the volcano. This just happens to be 1.1 miles deep inside the volcano. To the south over here, also in Old Ililama Volcano, this is a 1.4 tremor here, just south of the volcano itself. I'm going to move north. There's a good reason for that. Now, I want to show you this. This should have deep concerns for everybody in Alaska. Everybody in Alaska here. Mount Redoubt. Mount Redoubt Volcano. We have earthquakes north of Mount Redoubt here. This is a minus 0.1 microquake, supposedly above sea level. Guess what? It's not. It's not above sea level at all. This is 2.2 miles deep. 2.2 miles deep. Again, USGS is lying to us. Absolutely and positively lying to us. Crazy, isn't it? Also, I'm sorry, but this was just north of Mount Redoubt here. This is a 1.7 tremor here. Further north here, this is a 0.7 tremor here, north of Mount Redoubt. This is also 2.1 earthquake here, north of Mount Redoubt. Guys, we have a volcano here. North and south of it, we are having earthquakes near the volcano. There's reason to be concerned, but USGS not telling us about it. I've always been honest with you. I tell you when there's a concern to be needed. That's here. Okay? South Mount Redoubt right here. This is a minus 0.5 microquake, supposedly above sea level. But this is a half mile deep inside the volcano here. This is a minus 0.7, 1 mile deep. This supposedly is a minus 0.3, 0.7 of a mile deep. This is a supposedly minus 0.9, 1.4 miles deep. Who's lying now? Earthquakes down inside the volcano, supposedly above sea level. They're not. They're not. This earthquake further south, also a minus 1.1, 0.7 of a mile inside the volcano. That's trouble. That's trouble, guys. Right now, Anchorage, Alaska. There are no earthquakes or even volcanoes plaguing Anchorage, Alaska at this point in time. South and east of Anchorage, Alaska. 2.1 minor earthquake here near Girdwood, Alaska. Girdwood, Alaska, 2.1 minor earthquake. West of Anchorage, Alaska, across the Cook Inlet here. This is a 2.2 earthquake. Supposedly 9 miles southwest. They have it southeast of southeast of Setna, Alaska. It's not. Southwest. Again, USGS cannot get its directions straight. They can't get the directions straight. Insanity. Down here in the lower southeast side of Denali National Park, this is a 1.6 tremor here. On the northeast side of Denali here, 1.6 tremor here. Further north here in Denali, 1.7 tremor. Right next to 1.8. On the west side of Denali National Park here, 1.3 tremor here. USGS has this as east-northeast of Denali. No, it's not. It's west-northwest of Denali. Again, USGS cannot get its direction straight. 1.3 tremor here. South of there, 1.6 tremor here. 4 miles southwest of Denali. USGS has this as southeast. It's not. This is west of Denali National Park. Insanity. The United States Geological Survey does not want to give us the truth. Heaven forbid. Heaven forbid we know where the earthquakes are happening. It's insanity anymore. Complete insanity. Let's go over here to the Pacific Northwest. Washington State. This is a 1.4 tremor here. Near Lake Rosimer, Washington. Interesting. 1.4 tremor here. Let's go south over here to the Olympic Peninsula. Guess what? See this yield sign here? USGS typically shows a yield sign as an explosion. Yes, they've said this is a 1.0 explosion here in the Olympic Peninsula here, in a forested area. There's been no explosion, I checked. No explosion at all. USGS is lying to us again. Absolute and completely lying to us again. Yet this may be spontaneous combustion carnivorous. An exploding tree. They say it's an explosion. Maybe it's an exploding tree here. Interesting enough. It's not an explosion. It's a tremor here. It's a tremor here. USGS does this too many times. That's a tremor. See where the volcano right here is? A volcano, guys. A volcano. Actually, that's not the volcano at all. The volcano's right here. Sorry about that. The volcano's here. Okay. A tremor here put off as an explosion. What a joke. What a joke that is. Further south here in Washington is 0.4 microquake. Interesting enough. Where's it at? Northwest of Mount St. Helens. USGS is saying it's 17 miles south of Morganton, Washington. Again, the agency doesn't want anybody to know that these episodes are near volcanoes. But what they're not showing any activity at Mount Rainier at all. They're showing this 0.4 microquake. What they're not showing are all the other microquakes, all the other minor earthquakes, all the other small earthquakes are hitting Mount Rainier and Mount St. Helens. They don't want to identify it. Heaven forbid they show what's going on. Yet they say they're showing all the earthquakes that they can get their hands on, get their knowledge about. They're not showing squat. Further southwest over here, 1.7 tremor here. This just happened near Coloma, Washington. This is not the first tremor that's hit here. We've had 3 tremors already here in Coloma, Washington this week. Crazy enough. Crazy enough. Now, while I've been speaking about earthquakes, it's interesting. We went from 35 people watching this program to 24. Apparently, it's not good enough that we talk about earthquakes on this channel. We started talking about earthquakes on this channel almost 7 years ago. Now people are tuning away from this program. We're talking about earthquakes. Northern California, right here, near Eureka, California. 2.1 earthquake near Willow Creek, California. 6 miles west-southwest of Willow Creek, California. There are a lot more earthquakes in this area. Around Mount West and also Mount Shasta. They're not showing those earthquakes as well. Now, I'm going to leave earthquakes for a few minutes here. I want to talk about weather. Again, the weather conditions here in Oregon, Washington, and California are somewhat bleak. We have storm systems coming off the Pacific. They're bringing rainfall to the upper Pacific Northwest. The Cascade Mountains are going to receive snow. They're going to get snow. The snow levels are going to increase as the storm moves across the United States. Northwest Washington is going to get hit. Idaho is going to get hit. Vancouver, Alberta, Canada, Saskatchewan here, over here in Manitoba, Canada, all the way over here, Ontario, Canada, Quebec, Canada as well. You guys are going to see snow. Lots of snow. The northern tier of the United States is also going to get snowed in. You're going to see snow. Lots of snow. Lots and lots of snow. Idaho here. Montana, Wyoming. North and South Dakota. I'm going to come back to South Dakota in a minute and talk about that earthquake. Minnesota, Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas. Going to see snow. South of Kansas, Oklahoma. We're going to see rain. We're going to see a large variety of weather, including tornado watches and tornado warnings. Tornado watches and tornado warnings here. These warnings and watches are going to extend into western Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana, Tennessee, Mississippi, Georgia, Tennessee and Kentucky, Illinois, Ohio, all the way over into the eastern country, part of the country here along the coastline. Guys, by this weekend, here along the east coast of the United States, where I live, here in western North Carolina, we're going to see rain. We've already had rain. By Sunday, we could see thunderstorms, possibility of tornadoes here. Georgia and South Carolina are going to see some of the same thing. Possibly very severe thunderstorms in Georgia and tornadoes in Georgia, even down into northern Florida. Some parts of Georgia are also going to see snow. Northern Florida also has a chance of snow. Low temperatures happening. You need to be aware of it, guys. Winter has arrived here in the United States. North of North Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia. More rain here and the possibility of snow later this weekend. Yeah. Up here in the northern part of the United States, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island here, going further north, New York, Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, Washington, snow and colder temperatures. Get ready for it, guys. Winter has arrived here in the United States, and it's going to make its way known this weekend. The most part of the storms happen in February and March. Most part of the winter storms happen here in February and March. Be aware of that. Yes, we haven't seen that many storms, even during the Macy's Thanksgiving parade. It was cold and had rain. No snow, but rain. Bundle up, guys. Your things in your life are going to change. They're going to change. Beware of that. The cold temperatures may also get further south here in southern Texas. Be aware of that. Bundle up. Get ready. For the next few days, at least today and tomorrow, thunderstorms, severe thunderstorms, tornadoes, watches, and tornado warnings. Does everybody know what a tornado warning is? Does everybody know what a tornado watch is? A tornado watch is preparing for a tornado. Mean weather conditions are prime for a possible tornado. A tornado warning is when a tornado's been sighted on the ground or on radar. When a tornado warning is issued, you actually need to stop trying to prepare and go for cover. Go to the central part of your homes. If you have the opportunity, pull a mattress off the bed. Stay in a hallway away from windows. Stay in a hallway away from windows. If the bedrooms have windows, close the doors. Stay in the hallways away from the windows and pull the mattress above you to protect yourself from possible flying debris if your house starts getting hit by the tornado. If you don't have a possibility of doing that, go to the lowest, and you have a basement, go to the lowest possible corner of your basement and stay there until the all clear is given. If you have a tornado shelter, go there. If there are tornado shelters near your home, go there. Stay there until the all clear is given. Do we have any questions? Well, if you have to go to a tornado shelter, make sure you have your emergency preparedness kit with you. Clothes, food, medicine. Clothes, food, medicine, even water. Take it with you to the shelter. Any questions? Heidi Pedrick says she's high enough there in Washington State, but no snow yet. That's good, Heidi. I'm actually glad to hear that. Any questions about the weather? Any questions about the weather? Here on the map in Texas, we're seeing earthquakes here. There's a reason these are earthquakes. Earthquakes here in Texas are a result of oil fracking. Oil and gas pumping operations all over Texas. That's what causes these earthquakes, if you don't already know. Here in southwestern Texas here, USGS has this listed as New Mexico. It's not. You can clearly see that this earthquake is south of New Mexico in Texas. 2.0 earthquake here. There is a huge swarm of earthquakes here. Huge swarm. Not just one or two or three. This is a 2.0 earthquake. This is 1.7. This is a 2.0 earthquake. This is 1.8, 1.6, I should say. This is 1.6 earthquake here. These are minor earthquakes. Nobody's going to feel them. Tremors and minor earthquakes you're not going to feel. Southeast of there, Toyah, Texas, 1.0 tremor. North of there, a 1.3 tremor. Mentone, Texas. More earthquakes than that. Let's go over here. Crane, Texas, 1.4 tremor. Let's go north here. Guess what? More earthquakes. Forsan, Texas here. Forsan, Texas, 2.1 earthquake here. Tremors here, 1.3. 0.5 microquake. Stanton, Texas, 0.8. Northwest of Stanton, Texas here. Let's go east here. 2.0 earthquake here in Westbrook, Texas. This is 1.5 here. 14 miles south of Westbrook, Texas. Interesting. Let's go north here. We have a 1.4 earthquake here near Hermley, Texas here. Every one of these quakes, every one of them, are in oil and gas pumping fields. Oil and gas pumping fields here. Let's look here in Hermley, Texas. Let me show you this. There's actually one other here. This other one here is 1.6 tremor here as well. You see oil and gas pumping plots all over here. To the northeast right here. There's one there. There's two more right here. Another one over here. Two of them. More of them out here to the east. Two of them over here to the north. Anywhere within 6 to 10 miles of the earthquake. Anywhere from 6 to 10 miles of earthquake, it makes that earthquake an oil and gas earthquake. Oil and gas earthquake. .4 tremor here in Hermley, Texas here. We can zoom in here. There's more. Right up here. More pumps and jacks here. All over this area. We're here to the east. Right here. Down here to the south, oil and gas plots here. That's what happened when we have earthquakes and pumps and jacks all over the place. Oil and gas earthquakes. Now I want to take you up here to South Dakota. This earthquake here in South Dakota is not an oil and gas earthquake. This is a 2.8 earthquake though. It's a 2.8 minor earthquake. Nobody felt this earthquake. Nobody at all felt this earthquake. I'm going to zoom in here. I want you to see where it happened. Out here in the fields. The fields here, farming fields here. Let me tell you about this earthquake, guys. Most of North America's east of the Rockies Mountains has infrequent earthquakes. Infrequent. This is only the second time in the past 7 years that I've seen an earthquake here in South Dakota. Here and there, earthquakes are more numerous. For example, in the New Madrid region, the New Madrid seismic zone, centered on southeastern Missouri. In New England, New York, Philadelphia, and Wilmington area. That area has earthquakes, but they are because of the Mid-Atlantic Fault expansion. The expansion of the Mid-Atlantic Fault, causing earthquakes on the East Coast. But most of the enormous region east of the Rocky Mountains can go years without an earthquake. Large enough to be left alone. Large enough to be felt. Several U.S. states have reported a damaging earthquake. Earthquakes east of the Rocky Mountains have less frequent earthquakes than the west. They're typically felt over a much broader region than earthquakes of similar magnitudes because these earthquakes here are near the surface. They're shallow quakes. They're shallow quakes. Okay? An earthquake in this region can be felt over a much larger area, 10 times larger than a similar quake on the West Coast. It would not be unusual for a magnitude 4.0 earthquake in eastern or central North America to be felt over a significantly large region of the central North America. A significant percentage of the people would also feel this earthquake because it is also a shallow earthquake. Okay? A magnitude 5.5, which this is not. A magnitude 5.5 earthquake in eastern or north central North America might be felt by much of the population out to more than 300 miles from its source, 500 kilometers from its source. Earthquakes east of the Rocky Mountains that are centered in populated areas and large enough to cause damage are similarly likely to cause damage out to greater distances because of where it's at. And it is a shallow quake. Shallow quakes. Most earthquakes in North America east of the Rockies occur as faulting bedrock earthquakes. Faulting bedrock earthquakes. Now I'm going to put up our webcam here. I want to talk to you about faulting. Faulting or bedrock earthquakes. This was a faulting bedrock earthquake. It was not on a map fault. In this area, USGS has not gone out here and mapped the area here significantly to even find any fault lines. But this is a fault bedrock quake. The bedrock splits when pressure hits it, doesn't it? We've seen other areas of the country. Bedrock shifts either horizontally or even laterally. Horizontally or even laterally. Bedrock shifts. That's what happened here in South Dakota. This is a 2.8 minor earthquake. 3.5 miles deep. A shell earthquake. That's why this hit. It's a shell earthquake. Okay? Again, this area is not highly mapped. The USGS has not mapped it significantly to show any faults out here. But because of the bedrock shifted, causing this quake. Okay? These areas here have definitely been linked to geologic faults, but they have not been found specifically on any one fault because the fault lines have not been mapped. In contrast to the situation of plate boundaries, such as over on the West Coast, the plate boundary between the Pacific, the Juan de Fuca plate, out to the east, where we have the Atlantic plate and the North American plate. Plate boundary areas have earthquakes. In California, plate boundary areas, the North American plate and the Pacific plate. Plate boundaries. California's San Andreas Fault. California's San Andreas Fault system, where scientists are commonly using geologic evidence to identify the fault. And the fault has produced earthquakes up and down the fault. And this San Andreas Fault is very likely to produce a large earthquake in the near future, the very near future. Scientists who study Eastern and Central North American earthquakes often work from the hypothesis, a hypothesis, that modern earthquakes occur as a result of slip and pre-existing faults. Slip and pre-existing faults. Bedrock again. Bedrock. The rock, the bed of the rock, the dirt, the plate moves there. Okay? Now, as a result of slip on pre-existing faults, we get earthquakes. The bedrock of Eastern North America is, however, laced with faults that were active in early geologic eras. Few of these faults have been known to be active in the current geologic region, the current geologic area. However, we're having earthquakes because, again, the mid-Atlantic fault is expanding, pushing the North American continent, Greenland, Canada, the mainland United States, and northern Mexico in a southwesterly fashion, which is putting pressure on other places, including out here in the center of the United States. In most areas east of the Rockies, again, the likelihood of future damaging earthquakes is currently estimated from the frequencies and size of instrumentality recorded earthquakes. Earthquakes recorded by instruments. Earthquakes recorded by instruments. Then those earthquakes were recorded in historical data. Now, as we have seen in Kansas, as we've seen in Nebraska, Oklahoma, and Texas, we have earthquakes there because of induced seismicity. As is the case anywhere else in the world. There is evidence that some Central and Eastern North American earthquakes have been triggered by human-caused activity that have altered the stress conditions on Earth's crust sufficiently to induce faulting, induced earthquakes. Activities that induced felt earthquakes in some geological environments have included impoundment of water, putting water behind dams. Weight of the water causes earthquakes, doesn't it? They found that. Injection of fluid into the Earth's crust. Fracking. Injection of fluid into the Earth's crust is fracking. Extraction of fluid or gas, such as steam over on the West Coast. Extraction of steam from the volcanoes. Pulling the steam from the volcanoes into areas where they can be the steam can be transported to a turbine facility to generate earthquakes or generate electricity. Those earthquake faults, those man-made earthquake faults, those holes in the ground, man-made earthquakes are earthquake faults. Induced earthquakes. Human-induced earthquakes. The number of earthquakes suspected of being induced is much smaller than the number of natural earthquakes. But in some regions, such as south central states of the U.S., a significant majority of earthquakes there are thought by many seismologists to be human-induced. Even within areas where many human-induced earthquakes happen, the activity that seems to induce seismicity at one location may be taking place seismically at another location. Many other locations without inducing failed earthquakes. So you can induce an earthquake here by drilling a hole. Just because there's a drilled hole here does not.
Vanuatu Islands, class moderate, magnitude 5.5, depth 6.2 miles, 8 minutes ago.
Vanuatu Islands had another 5.5 earthquake just a few minutes ago. We'll go there in just a minute to take a look at that. But just because you drill a hole here does not mean we'll feel an earthquake over here. The earthquakes at those drill points happen because those drill points are where they're at. But it doesn't mean that earthquake will be felt from a distance away. Okay? I want to make that clear as well. Just because you drill a hole here and seismic energy hits it doesn't necessarily mean you'll feel the earthquake over here a distance away. Okay? Such investigations of the USGS has done usually address the process by which the suspected triggering activity might have significantly altered stresses in the bedrock of the earthquake source. Yeah. Drilling for steam from the volcano. Drilling through bedrock in Texas or Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, to pull up oil or gas. Okay? Again, we're talking about human-induced earthquakes. Human-induced earthquakes. Okay? And they commonly address the ways in which characteristics of the suspected human-triggered earthquakes differ from the characteristics of natural earthquakes in the region. Natural characteristics of an earthquake on the San Andreas Fault compared maybe over to the geysers area. Completely different. Completely different. Okay? Let's talk briefly about volcanoes. Before we do that, I'm going to take you now to Vanuatu where we just had that earthquake. 5.5 earthquake here in Vanuatu. This area right here. USGS does not even have it on the quake map. Let me see if we've got it over here on the EMSC, the European quake map here. Just a second, I'm bringing them up. We got it. It's in the northern part of the Vanuatu right here. Right there. That's a 5.5 earthquake right there. Right along the fault line. Right along the plate. Right along the plate. Guys, we have earthquakes here along the plates, don't we? We talked about that a few minutes ago. 7 different tectonic plates here in this region, spanning from Tonga and Samoa here to the north, down here in New Zealand, over here in Australia, Vanuatu and Legacy Islands here, over here in the Solomon Islands, over here in Papua New Guinea, over here in Indonesia. Notice what they're not showing here in Indonesia, earthquakes. There are 45 earthquakes here in Indonesia. They're not showing any at all. Incredible. Guys, in this region here, just here in Indonesia, because of the number of tectonic plates in this region, one tectonic plate is subducting under the other just like this. Subduction. One plate subducting under the other plate just like this. That's why we get earthquakes in this region, and USGS has the audacity to not show anything going on. That's why we have earthquakes here in Indonesia. Earthquakes here also in Australia, Papua Indonesia, Papua New Guinea, down in the South Pacific Islands here. Those plates also go up here into the Philippines, Southeast Asia here, all the way up here into Japan, all the way up here into Japan, plate tectonics. Plate tectonics. Northern Honshu, Japan here. This is a 4.4 earthquake here. Mod earthquake. Right here. This is a 4.6. This is in the Hanawa, Hanawa, Japan. 2 earthquakes, 2 mod earthquakes, 4.4 and 4.6. People in this area felt that earthquake. They felt these earthquakes, guys. No joke. Let's go down here near Tokyo. Southeast Tokyo. Right here. Just barely off the coast. This is a 5.0 earthquake here. 5.0 earthquake. Guess what? 6 miles away from the coast, they felt this earthquake. People along the coastline felt this earthquake. Guess what? Heavily populated area here, guys. Heavily populated area, they felt this earthquake. 5.0 large earthquake. USGS has been calling them moderate earthquakes. There's nothing moderate about a large 5.0 earthquake. People here in Japan felt this earthquake this morning. No joke. 7:28 this morning. Earthquakes throughout this region. No joke. Up here in northern China, this area right here, we had a 5.3 earthquake this morning. 5.3 earthquake this morning, and USGS took it down. That's insane. That's insane. Also over here, Tajikistan. We had a 5.3 earthquake here. They took it down. Why? Why did they take it down? They should have left it alone. They're not showing any earthquakes here in Europe at all. Nothing in China, nothing in Europe, or nothing in Russia, nothing in the Middle East, nothing in Europe at all. Guys, there are 1,600 earthquakes worldwide. Over 1,600 earthquakes worldwide. Why are they not showing earthquakes? Yeah. Why are they not showing earthquakes here? This is getting to be a joke. Let's talk about volcanoes. Let's talk about volcanoes. Let's go over to Hawaii. Right here. Look at all the earthquakes here. East of Mauna Loa here. East of Mauna Loa. This is a 1.8 tremor here. Northeast from there is a 1.7. At Kilauea, I'm going to show you some earthquakes, and well, I'm showing you an earthquake now at Kilauea, but Kilauea is erupting. Kilauea is erupting. This is a 2.01 earthquake at Kilauea. Kilauea. South here, they're calling this Pahala, Hawaii. Yes, it is. This is actually north of the town of Pahala. This town right here is Pahala, Hawaii. South of Pahala down here, we have 3 earthquakes along the fault line here. Along the fault line. This is 1.8 tremor. This is 1.8 tremor. And this is a 1.8 tremor here. Right in line here is south of Pahala, Hawaii. But earthquakes north of Pahala are also considered to be Pahala. Pahala earthquakes. Why? Pahala seems to be the gas region for magma around Hawaii. Magma comes here to the area designated as Pahala. Magma comes in here from the deep magma trough down underneath the earth in southern Pacific Ocean. Magma comes here to Pahala. Then the magma has magma channels from here in Pahala and goes to the volcanoes. Goes to all the volcanoes around the island. Okay? This earthquake here east of Pahala is because there's magma down beneath the surface here. This is a 1.7 tremor here. 1.7 tremor here. The reason we have magma hitting earthquake here at Kilauea because we have magma erupting here. Magma that's erupting here, and lava is erupting above the surface. Magma is below the surface, lava is above the surface. Okay, a 2.0 earthquake here at Kilauea. Southeast of Pahala offshore. This is a 2.0 earthquake here. Loihi, an underwater volcano here called Loihi. 2.0 earthquake here. Further northeast, this is also 1.8 tremor here caused by magma headed for Pahala. Magma down beneath the surface of the ocean here headed for Pahala. Magma here. Further north here, off the coast, this is a 2.1 earthquake here. Southeast of Fern Forest, Hawaii. Fern Forest, Hawaii here. Now, let me back up here. 6 years ago, we had a lot of lava erupting here at Kilauea. All of a sudden, the lava disappeared. Holly Mau Mau crater here at Kilauea was empty. Another volcano here, south and east of Kilauea. Pu'o also emptied out. Scientists wondered where it went. About 5 days later, they found out. The lava went out here to Fern Forest here. Fern Forest. a 1.8 tremor here today. The magma went underground here out to Fern Forest. It also continued out here to a place called Leilani Estates. Right here, today, we had another 2.3 earthquake here. USGS has taken it down. This area is still highly volatile to magmatic eruptions here, volcanic eruptions. When the lava left Kilauea, it spread out to Fern Forest and Leilani Estates. 24 fissures opened up. 24 fissures opened up all over Fern Forest, all the way out here to Leilani Estates. That's why on this old picture here, you are seeing these lava plumes. Volcanic gases coming off the surface from the fissures here that opened up. Unreal. The lava erupting here destroyed 1,500 homes. 1,500 homes were destroyed by the lava coming out of the fissures here. People had to evacuate their homes. They went over to other portions north and west of Leilani Estates to gain some solace and peace to get away from the lava. Now, most of those fissures have sealed up. They've sealed up. But there are craters left behind. The lava quit erupting at the fissures, and then it left craters and cones here in Leilani Estates. These craters and cones are now, for the most part, named volcanoes. They named these craters and cones for volcanoes because they erupted and left cones and craters here. The Hawaiian people designated them volcanoes. We still today see seismic activity here because there are magma channels down beneath the surface in Leilani Estates and out in Fern Forest as well. But again, the only earthquake they're showing here is in Fern Forest. They took the other 2.5 earthquake down over in Leilani Estates. Sad state of affairs. Earthquakes happen here in Hawaii because of magma down beneath the surface. Okay? Down beneath the surface. Now, let me take this USGS map down. We talked about Hawaii. We briefly mentioned Kilauea. Let me show you a picture of Kilauea today, this afternoon. My gosh, I thought I had this already show you. This is Kilauea this afternoon. Okay? There is active lava on the caldera. The caldera floor is lava that hardened from previous eruptions. There is fresh lava on the caldera floor. There have been eruptions at the north and the south end of the Kilauea crater, Halemaumau crater. They expect within the next 2 to 3 days to have more lava eruptions, more fountaining going on. Fountaining that's going up 2,000 to 3,000 feet high. 2,000 to 3,000 feet high. When that happens, I'm sure that the Hawaiian Volcanic Observatory will give you live footage coming from Kilauea crater, Halemaumau crater. Okay? But this is what is happening at Kilauea right now. Fresh lava flowing out on the surface of the crater, the caldera. Okay? Now there is enough lava flowing out of the holes, out of the summit of the volcano, that is overflowing the fissure that open up here. Yes, fissures open up here in Kilauea, north and south on the side of the volcanoes. Fissures. Not outside the rim of the volcano, but inside the rim of the volcano. Right now, The lava flow outside of, I'm sorry, not outside. The lava flowing inside the volcano is raising the caldera of the volcano, raising the caldera here. Okay? Before, and I'm talking earlier this year, the caldera was maybe 2,000, 3,000 feet down beneath the surface. Now it's raised up. The caldera is now probably 150 feet from the surface, the rim of the volcano. About 100 to 150 feet above or down below the rim of the volcano. Kilauea volcano is still active, very active. We are now in what they call the 40th episode of eruption. The 40th episode of eruption now at Kilauea volcano. But there are other volcanoes also erupting. Let's talk about those right now. Okay? Kilauea has erupted. We told you that. We've shown you that. It's going now. Forecast models suggest at Kilauea, fountaining schedule is going to be between January 10th and 14th. Like I said, tomorrow and to the 14th. Okay? Another fountaining episode. It's ongoing. It's going to continue. Not stopping. Now, let's talk about the other volcanoes erupting around the world. Semeru volcano over in Indonesia. Volcanic eruption. 15,000 feet high above the surface. 15,000 feet high, flight level 15,000, 4,600 feet above the summit of the volcano. Sabancay over in Peru, southern Peru. Ash advisory. Strong puff emissions. Right now at Sabancay, it's not erupting lava, but it's erupting still with puff eruptions. Sulfur dioxide and carbon dioxide gases are escaping Sabancay volcano in southern Peru. Calon volcano in Philippines. The Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology has reported that the eruption at Calon volcano on January 8th is ongoing. The eruption at Calon volcano in the Philippines was 900 meters, 2,953 feet above the vent. 2,953 feet above the vent. Over a half mile high above the vent. The alert at Calon volcano in the Philippines remains at level 2 on a 5-level scale. Taal volcano in Luzon, Philippines. Taal volcano in Luzon, Philippines. Taal volcano still has alert level 1. Low volcanic unrest. Low volcanic unrest. The other day we told you about my own volcano. My own volcano in the Philippines is active. It's been erupting. Okay? The eruption of my own volcano is intensifying. The summit lava dome is growing. It produces continuous incandescent rockfalls and pyroclastic flows. Big, huge rocks are being ejected from the volcano, rolling down the side of the volcano. Over 150 rockfalls and 90 pyroclastic flows. 90 pyroclastic flows. Okay? Tulang volcano in northern Sumatra, Indonesia. The Center for Volcanology and Seismology in Indonesia reporting Tulang volcano in Sumatra as being a level 2 alert. Level 2 alert on a level scale 4. Karangetang volcano in the Sanghi Islands of Indonesia. Siau Island. Indonesia reporting orangutan is erupting. However, today the alert level is 2 on a level 4 scale. Orangutan is in edge during the past 6 years has been on and off almost on a weekly basis. Orangutan volcano. Raung volcano. Raung volcano in East Java. Gas vapor plumes have been rising 100 meters, 328 feet above the surface. Gas and vapor plumes have been rising 328 feet or 100 meters above the vent. Level 2 alert has been sounded on a level 4 scale. I can't even pronounce these names. Gamalama volcano over in Halmahera, Indonesia. It's reported that unrest is continuing there. The alert level at Halmahera, Indonesia is level 2 of alert scale 4. Mount Ibu also over in Halmahera, Indonesia. Mount Ibu has been erupting. The gas plumes and the ash plumes from Mount Ibu in Halmahera, Indonesia has risen up to 600 meters above the surface, 1,969 feet above the vent. There were over 103 seismic explosions reported with the alert level. 103 explosions at the Ibu volcano. Incredible. Tulang volcano in Sumatra. There are multiple volcanoes on the island of Sumatra. Tulang volcano. Gas and vapor plumes rose to a maximum of 200 meters, 656 feet off the summit of the volcano. That volcano is on alert level 2 on a 4-level scale. Luatobo volcano in the Flores, Indonesia. Okay? The eruption level here is on and off. As of yesterday, a maximum of 200 meters high, vapor plume up of 200 meters high, 656 feet high off the summit vent. The alert level here at Luatobo is at level 4. Level 4. Yes, they have had the ash, they've had exploding lava down the summit of the volcano. The alert level at Luatobo is level 4. They've had ash, they've also had lava flowing down the side of the volcano. Luatobo volcano. Soputan, North Sulawesi, Indonesia. Yesterday, Soputan volcano is level 2 on a 4-level scale. Yes, they've had water vapor, they've had SO2 and CO2 emissions from the volcano. Merapi volcano, Central Java, Indonesia. Merapi volcano has been erupting on and off for months now, years, in fact, years. I've been reporting on Merapi volcano since 2016. Unreal. Or 2019. Started in 2019. Merapi volcano is still erupting. Okay. Right now it's at alert level 3 on a level 4. Okay. Seismic equipment and people watching the volcano have seen pyroclastic density currents, lava flowing down the side of Semeru volcano. It's happening. It's happening. Now, guys, those are the only volcanoes that are erupting. Okay. Over in Guatemala, Fuego volcano has ceased eruption right now. Popocatépetl in Mexico has stopped erupting right now. But both of those volcanoes have also been erupting off and on for years now. Over in Colombia. The volcano there has been erupting off and on for years now. Not erupting now. Sabancaya volcano in Peru is still active. In Ecuador, Reventador and what's it called? Reventador and I can't remember the name of the volcano there, but they're sister volcanoes right near each other. Both of those volcanoes are not erupting at present time. Doesn't mean they're not going to stop. They're not erupting right now today. Okay. The volcanoes in Chile and Argentina area are not erupting today either. Okay. But we have volcanoes literally around the world. Mount Etna, for example, is still erupting. Over next to Mount Etna, we have Stromboli volcano is still erupting there. Ongoing eruptions. Dangerous volcanic eruptions, guys. Dangerous volcanic eruptions. Do we have any questions about anything? Any questions about anything? Now, guys, as I've said before, I'm usually off on Saturdays and Sundays. But if an occasion presents itself and there's an emergency anywhere, we will come on the air to tell you about it as soon as the information becomes available. Always. On Sundays about 12:30 in the afternoon, we come on the air on this channel with our Sunday school class. Our Sunday school class is called Come Follow Me, the Savior Said. Last week, we had 70 people that attended the class. We appreciate all of you being here for those classes. We're talking about the New Testament. This week, we're going to be talking about Genesis chapter 1 and 2. Please be here for that. It's going to be fun. I guarantee you, we will read from the scriptures about the Savior creating the world. Today, I'm going to end this class today. Starting with chapter 3 of 2 Timothy. Chapter 3 of 2 Timothy. Here, let's start with verse 1. Going through, I believe, verse 5. This know also, that in the last days perilous times shall come. We are in the last days. We've begun the tribulation that's been talked about in Revelations. For men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents. That's why we get the protesters we've seen. Disobedient to parents, unthankful and unholy, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good, traitors, heady, high-minded lovers of pleasures more than lovers of God, having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. From such turn away. We talked about these same things at the beginning of our presentation tonight. What does the Lord counsel us to do? Turn ourselves away from those people. Be yourselves. Turn to God. Do the things that God would have you do. Obedience to the commandments, following what the Savior's taught us. Following what the Savior's taught us. That is the only way that you're going to save yourselves. Following what the Savior has taught us. I've said many times on this program, many times throughout this program, stand ye in holy places and be not moved until the day of the Lord come. For behold, it cometh quickly, saith the Lord. Amen. We are in the tribulation. I firmly believe that the Savior's second coming is close. The Savior's second coming is close. We need to prepare ourselves and our families for the Lord's second coming. I ask you all, right now, prepare for that day, because no man knows the time or the coming of the Savior. Prepare us for that day, because when it happens, those of you that don't prepare aren't going to have a chance. Those of you that don't prepare for the second coming aren't going to have a chance at all. Not at all. It's going to be too late. It's going to be too late. As I've said before, stay on the covenant path of the Savior, starting with being obedient to the Savior. Brothers and sisters, I trust the Savior. I love him. I have proven my allegiance to him. I ask each of you to discuss within yourselves and your families where you're at and get to where you need to be, following the Savior Jesus Christ. May God be with you this day and always. May God bless you and be with you until we can meet again. If not before, we will see you Sunday at 12:30 for a Sunday school class called Come Follow Me, the Savior said. Have a good night. God be with you until we meet again. We'll see you on the other side. Take care, everybody. God bless. See you soon. Take care. Bye.
Here at Emergency Management Associates, we're dedicated and true, bringing you the essential knowledge, helping you see things through. From disaster preparedness to navigating recovery's embrace. We're here to guide you in every unpredictable time and place. We break down the complex, make it easy to grasp and absorb, sharing strategies for safety. The vital lessons you can't afford to hoard. So thank you for watching, and thank you so much for your sub. You're a key part of our growing family, a member of our knowledge club. With every like, every share, and every comment you send our way, our critical message spreads further, helping more people every single day. Together we're stronger and more prepared. That's the truth we all abide. You help us build resilience with nowhere for uncertainty to hide. Your engagement truly inspires us. Your feedback acts as a guiding light, helping us continually grow and making our channel's future bright. We're always learning, always striving to be better. thank you. Thank you.